The last stand of the Aurora. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the U.S. Aurora, watching the stars blur past as her ship cruised through deep space. The experimental warship had seen better days. Its hull bore the scars of a decade of service, and its unique honeycomb structure drew confused looks from every dock worker in the fleet. But to Sarah, it was the most beautiful ship ever built. Engineering reports the quantum matrix is stabilizing. Captain, announced Lieutenant Commander Raj Kumar from his station. Though Maya says she's still getting those harmonic fluctuations in Section 7. Sarah smiled at the mention of her chief engineer. Maya Patel had been with the Aurora since its first trial runs, and she understood the ship's experimental systems better than its original designers. The fluctuations had been there since day one. Another quirk of the ship's revolutionary but temperamental quantum drive. Tell Maya not to worry too much about them, Sarah replied. We've only got one more mission before they decommission us anyway. The words tasted bitter in her mouth. The Aurora might not have been perfect, but it was far from obsolete. The bridge crew fell silent at the reminder. They'd all seen the official notice. The Aurora was to be retired. Its experimental technologies deemed too unstable for continued service. The fact that those same technologies had saved their lives countless times seemed irrelevant to Fleet Command. Message incoming from Arcturus Station, reported Communications Officer Elena Santos. They're confirming our final assignment. She paused, her expression darkening. It's a patrol route, Captain. Inner colonies only. Sarah's jaw tightened. A milk run, designed to let them fade away quietly. The Aurora, with its revolutionary quantum drive and adaptive defense systems, reduced to watching empty space for pirates that never came this far in. Well, came a new voice from the turbolift. Guess we'll have to make our own excitement. Maya Patel strode onto the bridge, her dark hair escaping from its usual neat bun, hands stained with the iridescent fluid that powered the ship's quantum systems. Captain, I've been running some numbers about those fluctuations. Sarah recognized the gleam in her chief engineer's eyes. It was the same look Maya got every time. She found a way to push the Aurora's systems beyond their supposed limits. Go on. The harmonics we're seeing. They're not a malfunction. They're a feature. Maya pulled up a holographic display, filling the air with swirling patterns of energy flow. The quantum drive isn't fighting against them. It's creating them intentionally. Like ripples in a pond, they're actually strengthening our structural integrity field. But that's impossible, Raj protested. The field specifications clearly state. The specifications were wrong, Maya interrupted. They were written for conventional ships with conventional physics. The Aurora doesn't play by those rules. Never has. She manipulated the display, highlighting patterns that pulsed in perfect synchronization with the ship's heartbeat. I think she's been protecting us. Evolving. Before Sarah could respond, Elena's console lit up with urgent signals. Captain, multiple ships just dropped out of FTL at the edge of our sensor range. Configuration unknown, but they're big. Really big. The holographic display shifted, showing a cluster of vessels unlike anything Sarah had seen before. They moved with an unsettling grace, their hulls seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. No response to standard hails, Elena reported, her fingers dancing across her console. Wait, getting something now. Audio only. A voice filled the bridge, its artificial tones carrying an edge of contempt. Human vessel, you have entered space claimed by the Nexus Collective. Your technological advancement has been deemed insufficient. Prepare for analysis and deconstruction. Sarah's mind raced. The nearest fleet reinforcements were hours away. The inner colonies were virtually defenseless. And her ship, her beautiful, imperfect, experimental ship, was all that stood between these aliens and millions of innocent lives. Maya, she said quietly, those harmonics you mentioned. How much more can we push them? The chief engineer's grin was fierce. Captain, I thought you'd never ask. The Aurora's been holding back. It's time to show everyone what experimental technology can really do. As the alien ships approached, their weapons charging with ominous power, the Aurora's quantum drive began to sing. The harmonics Maya had discovered weren't just strengthening their shields, they were about to change everything they thought they knew about space combat. The final mission of the U.S. Aurora was about to become anything but routine. Hidden strengths. The first shot from the Nexus Collective's lead ship cut through space like liquid lightning, aimed directly at the Aurora's bridge. But Maya Patel was ready. Her fingers flew across the engineering console as she initiated the sequence she'd discovered in those harmonic fluctuations. "Brace for impact," she called out, but the devastating blow never came. Instead, the energy beam struck the Aurora's quantum field and split into 1,000 smaller streams, each one following the honeycomb patterns of the ship's hull before dissipating harmlessly into space. "What just happened?" Captain Chen demanded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display where the alien ships were regrouping, clearly surprised by their weapons' failure. "The harmonics," Maya explained, her voice tight with concentration, as she fine-tuned the quantum field. "They're not just random fluctuations, they're a resonance pattern. The whole ship is essentially one big quantum interference matrix. When their energy weapon hit us, the field redirected it along paths of least resistance." Lieutenant Commander Kumar's console erupted with new data. "They're scanning us, Captain. Multiple frequencies, trying to figure out what we just did." He paused, frowning at his readings. "But our quantum field is shifting. They can't get a lock on our systems." "That's because they're looking for technology they understand," Maya said, allowing herself a small smile. "The Aurora's quantum systems don't work like normal ships. They adapt, they learn, She stopped, her eyes widening as new patterns emerged in her engineering displays. "They evolve." The Nexus Collective ships had spread out, forming a complex attack pattern that would have spelled doom for any normal vessel. Their next volley came from multiple directions at once, a coordinated strike designed to overwhelm any possible defense. But the Aurora was far from normal. As the alien energy beams approached, the quantum field rippled in ways that defied conventional physics. Each attack was caught in a web of harmonics, their power bleeding away into subspace or reflecting back toward their sources. "Maya," Sarah called out, "please tell me you can turn this defense into an offense." "Already on it, Captain." Maya's hands danced across her console, directing power through systems that had never been used as intended. "The quantum drive doesn't just move us through space. It manipulates the fabric of reality itself. And those harmonics we've been generating, they're like ripples in a pond, but the pond is spacetime." Belina's voice cut through the tension. "Captain, they're transmitting again." The artificial voice of the Nexus Collective held a new note. "Uncertainty. Human vessel, your technological capabilities exceed our initial assessment. Explain your defensive systems immediately." Sarah smiled grimly. "Maya, how about we give them a demonstration instead?" The chief engineer nodded, her eyes gleaming with the joy of scientific discovery. "Remember how I said the quantum drive manipulates reality? Watch this." She initiated a sequence that she'd been developing in secret for months, ever since she first understood what the harmonics truly meant. The Aurora's quantum field began to pulse, each wave building on the last. The honeycomb structure of the hull glowed with contained energy as the harmonics reached a crescendo. Then, with a flash that briefly outshone the nearest star, the field expanded. Space itself seemed to twist around the Aurora. The alien ship's energy weapons curved away from their targets, their beams following paths that shouldn't have been possible. Their shields flickered as the quantum harmonics interfered with their power systems. "Their technology is based on predictable physics," Maya explained, her voice filled with wonder at what her ship was achieving. "But we're not playing by those rules anymore. The Aurora isn't just bending space, it's rewriting the local laws of physics." The Nexus Collective ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart as each vessel tried to escape the influence of the Aurora's quantum field. But they had underestimated just how far Maya's discoveries could reach. "We've got them running," Kumar reported, but his celebration was premature. New alarms blared across the bridge as the tactical display filled with fresh contacts. "Reinforcements," Alina announced grimly. "A lot of them. They're calling in their entire battle fleet." Sarah turned to Maya, who was still working furiously at her station. "Tell me you've got more surprises hidden in those harmonics." The chief engineer looked up, her expression a mix of excitement and determination. "Captain, what we've seen so far, that's just the beginning. The Aurora's quantum systems are fully awake now, and they're showing me things that change everything we thought we knew about space warfare." As the Nexus Collective's battle fleet emerged from FTL travel, surrounding the Aurora in a sphere of overwhelming force, Maya's displays filled with new patterns, possibilities that no human engineer had ever dreamed of. The experimental ship that Fleet Command had deemed obsolete was about to show the galaxy why humanity's greatest strength was its ability to innovate beyond the impossible. The enemy within. Multiple quantum breaches detected. Kumar's warning cut through the controlled chaos of the Aurora's bridge. "They're not just attacking our shields, they're trying to hack directly into our systems." The tactical display showed the Nexus Collective's battle fleet maintaining their sphere formation around the Aurora. But now threads of dark energy pulsed from their ships, probing for weaknesses in ways that defied conventional sensors. Captain Chen watched as status indicators across the bridge flickered and distorted. "Maya, talk to me. What are we dealing with?" "They're using quantum entanglement as a weapon," Maya replied, her fingers flying across multiple interfaces at once. "Trying to synchronize their computer systems with ours at the subatomic level. If they succeed..." She didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone knew that such a deep infiltration would give the aliens complete control of the Aurora. Alina's communication console erupted in a cascade of alien code. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies now, even ones that shouldn't exist. The universal translators are barely keeping up." She paused, listening through her headset. They're saying they want to preserve our technology by absorbing it into their collective." Sarah's expression hardened. "Preserve? They mean steal. Maya, can we keep them out?" "That's the thing, Captain." Maya's voice held an odd note of excitement despite the crisis. "They think they're hacking us, but the quantum harmonics, they're responding, evolving. The Aurora isn't just defending against their attack, it's learning from it." The bridge lighting shifted to a deep purple as alien code tried to overwrite ship systems, but where it touched the quantum field, something unexpected happened. Instead of corrupting the Aurora's computers, the invasion created new patterns in the harmonic fluctuations. "Look at this." Maya called up a holographic display that filled the center of the bridge. It showed the Aurora's quantum field as a complex web of energy. But now that web was incorporating elements of the alien code, transforming it into something entirely new. The quantum systems aren't just blocking their attack, they're assimilating it, understanding it. And her eyes widened. Oh, this is beautiful. Care to share with the rest of us?" Sarah asked, gripping her command chair as another wave of alien energy rocked the ship. Maya's grin was fierce. "Remember how I said the Aurora manipulates reality? The Nexus Collective's quantum intrusion just taught us how they do it. And our ship? She's a quick learner." The holographic display shifted, showing the energy patterns of both the Aurora and the alien fleet. Where before they had been distinctly different, now similarities began to emerge, but with a crucial difference. The Aurora's patterns were more complex, more adaptable, more alive. "Their technology is based on rigid quantum structures," Maya explained, her hands dancing across her console as she implemented her discovery. "They believe in perfect order, perfect control. But the Aurora's quantum field is dynamic, chaotic, and that chaos is our strength." Sarah leaned forward. "Can we use their own weapons against them?" "Better. Maya initiated a sequence that made the quantum harmonics sing throughout the ship. We can show them what their technology could do if it wasn't constrained by their need for control. The Aurora's honeycomb hull began to pulse with energy, each cell acting as a quantum amplifier. The alien code that had tried to infiltrate their systems was caught in the harmonics, transformed, and then reflected back at the Nexus collective fleet. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The dark energy tendrils connecting the alien ships began to fluctuate wildly as the Aurora's chaos-enhanced quantum field interfered with their perfectly ordered systems. Ships that had operated in perfect synchronization suddenly found themselves out of phase with each other. "They're trying to withdraw," Kumar reported, unable to keep the awe from his voice. "Their quantum links are destabilizing." But the Nexus collective wasn't finished. Even as their first attack failed, their ships began to reconfigure, adapting their formation into something new and more threatening. The sphere around the Aurora contracted, energy building between the alien vessels. "They're combining their power," Maya warned, "going to try to overwhelm us with brute force since subtlety failed." She paused, studying the readings on her console. But they don't understand what they're actually facing. The Aurora isn't just a ship anymore. It's become something unprecedented. A quantum entity that exists in multiple states simultaneously. Sarah stood from her command chair, watching as the alien fleet prepared their massive attack. "Then let's show them what humanity's obsolete technology can really do. Maya, whatever you're planning, do it now." As the Nexus collective unleashed their combined power, the Aurora's quantum field expanded to meet it. But this time, it wasn't just deflecting or absorbing the attack. The experimental ship that had been deemed too unstable for service was about to demonstrate why unpredictability was the greatest advantage of all. Breaking point. The combined energy blast from the Nexus collective's fleet struck the Aurora like a newborn star. Warning klaxons screamed across every deck as the quantum field strained against forces it was never designed to contain. On the bridge, displays flickered between normal space and something else, realms of reality that human eyes were never meant to see. "Hull integrity at 40% and falling," Kumar reported, his voice steady despite the chaos. "The quantum field is, Captain, I don't even know how to read these numbers anymore." Maya's hands flew across her engineering station, redirecting power through systems that were transforming even as she used them. "The field isn't failing," she called out, excitement cutting through her exhaustion. "It's transcending. The alien attack. It's pushing us past a quantum threshold I didn't even know existed." Through the viewport, space itself seemed to bend and twist. The Aurora's honeycomb hull structure now glowed with energies that pulsed in impossible colors, each cell acting as a gateway between dimensions that physics said shouldn't connect. "Multiple colonial distress signals detected," Elena announced suddenly. "The Nexus collective, they didn't just come for us. They've launched attacks on 3 nearby settlements." Sarah's jaw tightened. The Aurora was humanity's only line of defense, but their experimental ship was barely holding together. "Maya, we need options. Now." "I'm seeing something in the quantum readings," Maya replied, her eyes fixed on displays that showed mathematical patterns evolving in real time. "The harmonics we've been generating. They're not just affecting local space anymore. They're creating a cascade effect through subspace. Each time the collective hits us, the effect grows stronger." Another blast rocked the ship, and for a moment reality itself seemed to shudder. But in that moment of near destruction, Maya saw it. The pattern she'd been searching for since the battle began. "Captain," her voice carried the fierce joy of scientific breakthrough. "Remember how their first attack tried to hack our systems through quantum entanglement? They showed us how their technology works, and now I know how to use that against them." The tactical display showed the Nexus collective ships moving into their final attack position. Their energy weapons powered up simultaneously, preparing to deliver a killing blow that would obliterate the Aurora and leave Earth's colonies defenseless. "Whatever you're planning, Maya, do it fast," Sarah ordered, watching the enemy fleet with calculated calm. We won't survive another direct hit. The Aurora's quantum field isn't just a shield anymore, Maya explained, her fingers dancing across controls that responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. It's become a lens, focusing and redirecting quantum possibilities. And right now, all those possibilities are about to collapse into one reality. She initiated a sequence that made the ship's structure sing with harmonic resonance. The honeycomb cells of the hull began to pulse in perfect synchronization, each one amplifying the quantum field in ways that defied conventional physics. Their technology requires perfect order to function. Maya continued, fine-tuning the harmonics as she spoke. They see chaos as a weakness, something to be controlled. But chaos is just complexity they don't understand. And the Aurora? She's become complexity incarnate. The quantum field expanded, but this time it didn't just protect the ship. It reached out through the subspace connections the collective themselves had created, following the paths of their own quantum entanglement back to their vessels. They wanted to preserve our technology. Maya's grin was fierce. Let's show them what preservation really means. The Aurora's transformed quantum field touched the alien ships, and for a moment, everything stopped. In that frozen instant, two fundamentally different approaches to reality collided. The collective's rigid order versus the Aurora's evolved chaos. Then the moment broke, and with it, the aliens' perfect formation shattered. Their quantum-linked weapons, meant to fire as one, instead cascaded through probability space. Some shots vanished into parallel dimensions. Others looped back on their sources in temporal knots. A few simply ceased to exist, their energy dispersed across possibilities that never were. Their fleet is destabilizing, Kumar reported, his voice filled with wonder. The quantum backlash, it's affecting their entire network. Sarah leaned forward in her command chair, watching as the mighty Nexus Collective began to fall into disarray. Maya, what exactly did you do to them? Something they never considered possible, the engineer replied, still working to maintain the complex quantum harmonics. We didn't just reflect their attack. We showed them a version of their own technology evolved beyond their understanding. Their rigid systems can't handle that level of complexity. It's like trying to force a river into a perfectly straight line. The Aurora hung in space, its honeycomb hull still glowing with transformed energy as the alien fleet retreated in chaos. But Maya's expression suddenly shifted from triumph to concern. "Captain," she said quietly, "we've got a problem. The quantum field, it's still evolving. And I don't think we can stop it." Legacy of innovation. The Aurora's quantum field rippled with unconstrained power, each pulse sending waves of probability cascading through nearby space. On the bridge displays, reality itself seemed to fluctuate as multiple possible futures competed for existence. The harmonics are becoming self-sustaining, Maya reported, her hands moving across controls that changed configuration with each passing second. The quantum field isn't just evolving anymore, it's accelerating. At this rate, it'll reach critical threshold in less than 10 minutes. What happens then? Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Either transcendence or total collapse. Maya's voice held equal measures of fear and fascination. The field will either stabilize at a new level of quantum complexity or... She didn't need to finish the sentence. The Lena's console lit up with urgent signals. "The Nexus Collective fleet is regrouping, Captain. They're maintaining distance, but their ships are reconfiguring into some kind of containment formation." The tactical display showed the alien vessels forming a new pattern, one designed not to attack, but to contain whatever was about to happen. Their previous aggression had been replaced by something that looked almost like fear. "They know," Kumar said quietly. "They can see what's happening to us, and they're scared of it." Sarah stood from her command chair, moving to stand beside Maya at the engineering station. "Talk to me, Maya. What are our options?" The engineer's fingers danced across displays that showed mathematical patterns evolving faster than human eyes could follow. "The quantum field. It's not just our defense system anymore. It's become something new. A bridge between what is and what could be. Another pulse rocked the ship, but this time it came from within. The honeycomb structure of the hull now glowed with energy that seemed to flow between dimensions, each cell a window into different versions of reality. We could try to shut it down. Maya continued, force the field back into its original parameters. But she looked up at her captain, her eyes bright with the possibility of discovery. What if we don't? What if we guide it instead? Sarah studied the readings, years of command experience warring with the scientist she'd been before taking the Aurora's helm. Guided how? The collective tried to hack our systems because they saw our technology as primitive, something to be absorbed and controlled. But what they didn't understand was that the Aurora's quantum systems were always meant to evolve. Maya's hands moved with renewed purpose. We didn't build a static defense system. We built the foundation for something that could grow beyond our original design. A new alarm sounded as the quantum field's expansion reached a critical point. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to ripple like the surface of a pond, possibilities bleeding into each other. 7 minutes to threshold, Kumar announced. Maya's expression suddenly shifted from concern to revelation. Captain, I know what we have to do. The field isn't just growing. It's trying to establish a new kind of quantum equilibrium, one that bridges the gap between order and chaos. And if we help it? Sarah asked. Then we don't just save ourselves. We change everything. Maya's fingers flew across her console, implementing changes even as she explained them. The Collected's technology is based on rigid quantum structures because that's all they can imagine. But the Aurora, she's showing us that true stability comes from controlled chaos, from the balance between order and innovation. The ship shuddered as Maya began redirecting power through systems that were transforming even as she used them. The quantum field's expansion slowed, then steadied, its energies no longer fighting for release but flowing in new patterns. 4 minutes to threshold, Kumar updated, but now his voice held more wonder than fear. Through the viewport, they could see the Nexus collective ships maintaining their containment formation, their own quantum fields pulsing in response to the Aurora's transformation. But where before they had tried to impose their order on the human vessel, now they seemed to be studying it, learning from it. The field is stabilizing, Maya announced, her voice tight with concentration. But this isn't just about survival anymore. We're not just saving the ship. We're proving that evolution is stronger than control, that innovation comes from embracing complexity rather than fearing it. The final minutes ticked away as the Aurora's quantum field reached its new equilibrium. The honeycomb hull structure, once mocked as inefficient, now served as a perfect framework for the ship's evolved systems, each cell maintaining its own quantum state while contributing to the greater whole. When the threshold finally came, it wasn't with the catastrophic release they had feared. Instead, the Aurora's quantum field settled into a new state of existence, one that bridged the gap between human innovation and alien technology, between chaos and order. The Nexus Collective's containment fleet held position for long moments, their sensors studying the transformed human ship. When they finally transmitted, their artificial voice held something new: respect. Human vessel Aurora. The message came. Your solution is unprecedented. We request exchange of technical data. Sarah smiled. Tell them we'll consider it. After they withdraw from human space and recognize our sovereignty. She turned to Maya, who was still fine-tuning the stabilized quantum systems. I think Fleet Command might want to reconsider that decommission order. Oh, they'll have to, Maya replied with a grin. The Aurora isn't obsolete. She's the prototype for an entirely new class of ship. One that proves humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology itself, but our ability to let it grow beyond its original design. As the Nexus collective fleet began their withdrawal, Sarah looked around her bridge. At the crew who had believed in their unusual ship, at the systems that had evolved beyond anyone's expectations, at the future they had just helped create. The Aurora had been scheduled for decommissioning, deemed too experimental, too unpredictable for modern warfare. Instead, it had become something more, a bridge between what was and what could be, a testament to humanity's greatest gift, the ability to embrace the unknown and grow stronger from it. They had done more than win a battle. They had proven that true innovation comes not from imposing order on chaos, but from learning to dance with it. And in doing so, they had changed the future of human space travel forever.